So let's get into our topic of discussion: the 11 deceitful mind games tactics narcissists use to manipulate you. Are you tired of feeling trapped in a cycle of emotional and psychological manipulation by a narcissist? Do you worry that the long-term effects of dealing with these devilish individuals are damaging your faith and sense of self? If you want to learn how to recognize and resist the mind games they play, you've come to the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the 11 demonic mind games narcissists use to manipulate you, and understanding the purpose behind each tactic will empower you to protect yourself from further abuse. Now, while this discussion won't cover every possible tactic, it will be extensive. So, let's get started. Narcissists are incredibly self-centered, egotistical, and emotionally fragile people. They only care about their own needs, often at your expense. They excel at playing mind games to gain the upper hand in relationships, viewing you not as a person with feelings but as a pawn in their twisted game. They don't consider how their behavior affects you. It's as if your emotions are non-existent to them. Does this sound familiar? These individuals can be seen as demonically inspired. As 1 Peter 5:8 warns us, the devil prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. If we need to be alert to the devil, we must also be vigilant about the people he uses. Tactic game number 1, the blame game. Let's kick things off with the blame game. Narcissists are incredibly fragile beneath their facade of confidence. You might be fooled by their charming exterior, but underneath is a shallow individual who feeds off your validation. When that validation wanes, they often resort to playing the victim to elicit sympathy and shift blame. They will exaggerate or fabricate situations where they appear innocent, deflecting attention away from their harmful actions. They rarely take responsibility for any issues in the relationship, always insisting it's your fault. Whether it's past failures or current problems, they have a ready-made excuse for everything, including cheating. They'll say things like, "You drove me to it," or "You never cared." This behavior is age-old, reminiscent of Adam in Genesis, who said, "The woman you gave me made me do it." The purpose of the blame game? To make you feel sorry for them so you'll stop standing your ground and start catering to their needs. It's pure manipulation. Tactic game number 2, the trigger game. Next up is the trigger game. Have you ever noticed how narcissists seem to know exactly how to push your buttons? They've studied you meticulously, but not to understand you, rather, to weaponize your vulnerabilities. During the love bombing phase, they learn your pain points, only to use that knowledge against you later. When you confront them, they seem to have an incredible memory of every mistake you've made, using it all to provoke you. The goal? To make you lose your cool, allowing them to claim the moral high ground while you're left feeling unstable and irrational. It's a classic tactic of emotional manipulation. Tactic game number 3, the coercion game. If narcissists don't get their way, they will resort to various forms of manipulation, guilt, shame, triangulation, all designed to make you feel bad about yourself and question your boundaries. This tactic is not limited to major issues, they use it for everything. If you don't meet their expectations, be prepared for a whirlwind of emotional turmoil. They'll gaslight you and project their own frustrations onto you, creating an exhausting cycle of coercion. Manipulation in this sense can be likened to witchcraft, steeped in deception. The purpose of this game? To keep you at their emotional mercy, always second-guessing your own feelings. Tactic game number 4, the confusion game. The confusion game comes next. Conversations with narcissists often feel like a never-ending cycle of chaos, leaving you questioning your own sanity. They have a knack for twisting words and creating confusion, avoiding direct answers to your straightforward questions. When you seek clarity, they'll accuse you of being demanding or cutting them off, flipping the narrative entirely. The aim? To distort your reality and make you doubt your instincts, leading to self-distrust. Their goal is to create an environment where you feel uncertain and insecure. Tactic game number 5, the word game. Narcissists are masters of double talk. They'll say one thing and do another, often leading you to feel confused and betrayed. They know how to play with your emotions, making you cling to their words while their actions tell a very different story. When their behavior doesn't align with what they've promised, you're left in a state of confusion and frustration. The purpose of the word game is to get you emotionally hooked on their empty promises, rather than holding them accountable for their actions. Tactic game number 6, the giving game. Moving on to the giving game. Narcissists may present themselves as generous individuals, but their version of giving is often conditional and self-serving. They will give, but it's never without strings attached. This kind of manipulation can leave you feeling grateful and indebted, only to be met with resentment later when they feel unappreciated. Their purpose here is to create an illusion of generosity, convincing you that you owe them in return, which sets the stage for further manipulation. Tactic game number 7, the projection game. Let's talk about the projection game. Narcissists often project their insecurities onto you, accusing you of traits or behaviors they themselves struggle with. This can manifest in many ways, such as a partner accusing you of infidelity when they are the ones betraying trust. This tactic is not only defensive but also a way for them to avoid facing their own flaws by deflecting attention onto you. The purpose of this game? To keep you focused on your shortcomings rather than addressing their toxic behavior. Tactic game number 8, the humiliation game. The humiliation game is particularly insidious. Narcissists seek to dominate and control through humiliation, using belittling comments or public embarrassment to undermine your self-worth. They derive pleasure from the emotional pain they inflict, as it elevates their sense of superiority. The aim here is simple: to assert power and revel in the distress of others, all while maintaining a facade of innocence. Tactic game number 9, the manipulation game. Next, we have the manipulation game. Narcissists are incredibly skilled manipulators, using flattery, guilt, and emotional withdrawal to exploit those around them. They present a charming exterior to draw you in, only to twist the narrative once trust is established. Gaslighting is a common tactic, distorting your reality to make you question your own perceptions. The purpose of this game? To maintain power and feed their insatiable need for admiration. Tactic game number 10, the mirror game. The mirror game is about creating an illusion of understanding. Initially, narcissists may make you feel like no one else gets you quite like they do. They mimic your likes and values, creating a false sense of connection. However, this mirroring is a tactic used to gather information for future manipulation. Once they have what they need, they will distort that image, leaving you feeling lost and confused. The goal is to make you believe that any issues in the relationship stem from your shortcomings. Tactic game number 11, the apology game. Finally, we arrive at the apology game. After you've reached your breaking point, narcissists may offer apologies that seem heartfelt but are often superficial. These apologies are rarely genuine and usually lack true repentance. They are more about salvaging the relationship than acknowledging their harmful behaviors. The purpose? To create a false sense of resolution, allowing them to resume their mind games once again. In closing, the screen fades to the host sitting in a calming setting. If you found this episode enlightening, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Remember, understanding these mind games is the first step toward reclaiming your power and protecting yourself from toxic relationships. If you're struggling with these issues, establish firm boundaries and apply principles given to you from the Toxic People Survival Guide and start your first steps toward healing. Thank you for joining Dr. Powerhouse and Associates today. Stay strong, and know you're not alone in this journey, and we will see you in the next one.